uncritical support of the U.S. with economic, political, and military aid. Moreover, this is not the first time nor the last time we're seeing a massacre in Qana. Unfortunately, we may bear witness to 1,000 more Qanas before the insanity of this administration tempers itself. In 1996, as Israel was preparing for Operation Grapes of Wrath, it warned Lebanese civilians to clear their homes in the south, to clear their homes so that they would not be mistaken for Hezbollah militants. And on April 18th, 1996, at approximately 2 p.m. until 2:17 p.m., 17 minutes, Israeli missiles fired onto a UN compound in the south that gave shelter to 800 Lebanese civilians.
Murder! It's murder!
800 civilians that fled the south because of Israeli warnings, that thought that perhaps Israel would spare their lives, that believed in the fallacy of Israel's sweep for Hezbollah militants. This is not about Hezbollah militants. This is a search to terrorize Lebanese civilians, as it has been a policy to terrorize Palestinian civilians. On April 18, 1996, as 800 civilians took refuge and Israeli shells fell on a UNIFIL compound, a UN compound to provide shelter, the victims had nowhere to go as their flesh burned, as they searched for their family members, as the Fijian peacekeepers who were there didn't know what to do. Even they were helpless against Israeli military intransigence. 106 civilians were left murdered in 1996, not Sunday, 2006, 10 years ago. And today, and then, when the UN called for an investigation and the investigation found that this was in fact a deliberate attack, that it couldn't be the fault of procedural or technical error, the Clinton administration shelved that investigation to shield Israel, to provide it the impunity to kill civilians without restriction. Had we done something then, had we held Israel accountable then, they wouldn't believe they can get away with the murder of civilians now, as they're doing. And so we're here today in front of the State Department to say, release the full investigation from 1996. Restrain Israel. Stop protecting it from accountability. Stop protecting it and placing it above international law. This is our fault as much as it is yours, because we're not holding you accountable to international law. The UN has already said that Israel's attack in 96 was deliberate, and it's no different than the attack on Sunday that left 60 civilians dead, 37 of whom are children under the age of 10. What will you say to them when they're going to be 15 and 20 and 25? Will you continue to say that the death of your parents was justified for Israel to protect itself? As they took refuge in a bomb shelter, what will you say to them? What will we say to them as we're bearing witness to our administration's protection of Israel as it continues its war crimes? And so, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we are not confused by coming to the State Department today. Not at all. Because were it not for the State Department's protection, were it not for the administration's uncritical support of Israel, they would not be able to kill 60 civilians in front of cameras internationally. They would not be able to kill 4 UN peacekeepers last week in a UNIFIL compound. They would not be able to get away with such a bloody policy in the face of the international community were it not for this U.S. administration. and the administration before that and before that. And so we have to let them know that if Israel is to be restrained at all, that restraint must start here. That restraint must start here. Stop shielding them from criticism. Stop allowing them from acting with impunity. Stop treating them deferentially. Hold them to account. And you'll find that your ostensible war on terror will have no